Netcasts you love.
From people you trust.
This is Twit.
Bandwidth for Triangulation is brought to you by CacheFly at CacheFly.com.
This is Triangulation, episode 113, recorded July 31st, 2013. Danny Thompson and the quest for the land speed record. It's time for Triangulation, the show where we get together with some of the most interesting, smartest, most creative people on the internet, get to talk to them for a while, give you a chance to talk to them via our chat room. I'm glad you're here today because we're going to talk about speed, land speed records to be specific. Our guest today is Danny Thompson, and you may remember the name of his dad, Mickey Thompson. We're going to talk about that in just a second. Welcome, Danny. It's good to have you on the show.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be here. Am I supposed to be able to see you?
Yeah, can't you see me?
I cannot.
I'm waving at you. Well, we'll push a button on our end. Maybe,
there you go.
Maybe you'll be able to see me. If you can't, then you're really not losing anything. You're not actually missing anything. What is Thompson SLR?
It's Thompson LSR.
I'm sorry, LSR, yes.
Yeah, Thompson, and then land speed racing is what the LSR part of it is, and that's it's our call for what we do at Bonneville, and it's the Bonneville Salt Flats are really, really unique. Have you been there or ever heard of it?
No, but I grew up watching these amazing trials. It's a big, flat space, I gather.
It is. It is. It's so flat up there that you can actually see the curvature of the Earth.
Wow.
There's nothing there, for just miles. Nothing lives out there. You don't even have bugs out there.
Is it a track, or is it you don't need a track because it's just the salt flats?
It's just the salt flats, and then it is a track, and it's an 8-mile track, and it goes straight from north to south, and you let the clutch out, and you got 8 miles to get going, do your record, and get stopped.
That seems like it'd be enough, but when you're traveling 400 miles an hour, those 8 miles go pretty quick.
Really quick. That's a couple football fields a second.
Wow.
So I mean, that's
holy cow. Wait a minute. That's mind-boggling. Wow.
Yeah, when you put it in perspective like that, you kind of get a feel for, what it does and how fast you go. So basically we run, if my goal is to go 450 miles an hour up there. So 450 miles an hour, you would actually, your run would last about 70 seconds.
Wow. Now your dad started this business here. Is that right, Mickey?
He did. Mickey Thompson, my dad, and in 1960, he went 406 miles an hour with a car that he actually built in his garage while he worked at the LA Times at night as a pressman.
You're kidding. So he wasn't a professional race car driver. He wasn't even a professional mechanic. Do you remember those years, his dream?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And I mean, he became a professional race car driver, and that's kind of, when he went 400 miles an hour, that's what really put him on the map to become a pro.
Yeah.
I mean, this was to beat the English. The English were always the ones up there setting all the records and everything. So he went up, I mean, he took a car with a friend of his named Fritz Voigt, a car. They took 4 Pontiac engines, and they laid them on the floor, side by side on crates. And then they drew lines in between what they thought the chassis should look like. And then they started from right there. They went to Sears, they bought an arc welder, and went and bought a bunch of tubing, and they built a car that revolutionized the industry.
No kidding.
Yeah.
So he had no experience doing this? This was just something, a dream?
Well, he started doing it. I mean, in high school, he started racing cars and up at the dry lakes and stuff. So he did have experience before that, and he had set some records and stuff like that. But no, that was just, I mean, he was a self-made man. He just figured it all out. I would say he was an engineer, but he never went to academically, wasn't an engineer, never went to school, but he could just look at things and figure things out. Absolutely an amazing man.
Well, no kidding. I mean, first of all, just to know that you could put 4 engines in line and that would make it faster, it's not intuitive to me.
Yeah, well, I mean, and these engines, actually, there was 2 of them and 2 of them, so there was 2 of them grouped together, and then he had 32 fuel injectors with 1 throttle pedal, 1 handle to shift 4 transmissions. I mean, how the heck he figured all this out, I have no real idea. I mean, I'm certainly not as smart as he was.
It's amazing. So this original car was called the Challenger, or Challenger 1. It wasn't the 1 at the time because there was no 2.
Right.
And he set the record. What was the previous record?
The previous record was in the 380 something. So he came up with 406, but he only did it one way. The trick at Bonneville is you have to go and make your run, and then within 1 hour you have to turn around and make a return run, and then they average those two speeds.
Oh, that's mean.
Oh, it's wicked to have to do it twice. And he broke on the return run, so he went 406.6 one way, but he didn't officially get the record because he broke on the return run. So, and then so he tried to go back again the next year, but the car was capable and it went that fast, but it was marginal. I mean, he looked through a windshield that was 4 inches by 4 inches. It was the lens out of a welding helmet. So, yeah.
I mean, it's got to be a little terrifying. I mean, it's not like you could run into anything, right? There's nothing out there.
No, there's nothing out there. But if you do crash, like 2 years ago at Bonneville, I crashed a Mustang up there, 264 miles an hour in a production Mustang, and there's nothing to hit, no walls or anything to hit. But that thing took off, went 25 feet in the air, flew 1,100 feet through the air, and then rolled 7 times. I went through the traps at 248 miles an hour, upside down on my lid, and it hurt.
Yeah, on a stock Mustang? I want to take mine up there. Was that a Shelby or was it?
It was just like a GT500, yeah. You know,
That's my car.
highly modified.
That's my car.
Did
you tweak it a little bit to get it to go that fast?
Big time.
You had to
Big
take the
time.
governors off, that's for sure.
Yeah, exactly.
I redlined that thing pretty easily.
Yeah, but that's what it was. I mean, that was the basis, but it was, naturally highly modified with roll cages and
thank goodness. Thank goodness.
Thank goodness for sure.
Holy cow! So I mean, now this record, by the way, is the piston record. So is it a gasoline engine?
No, this is actually an engine that runs on nitromethane and alcohol. And in the car, the Challenger 2.5, it's 2 engines. 2,000 horsepower apiece, and I get to sit in between them, so I'm a 4,000 horsepower sandwich.
Oh my God! All right, so let's talk about Mickey a little bit more. So he decided he was going to build the Challenger 2 because even though he went 406 miles an hour, he didn't do it there and back.
Correct.
So he wants to get that official record, so he's going to build the Challenger 2.
Built the Challenger 2, and he put it together with a bunch of Southern California guys, all hot rodders and drag racers right here in the Southern California area that were they were magicians when it came to building stuff. And with help from Ford, I mean, it was a Ford-sponsored car, and they had all the design studios and stuff, and it was called Carcraft at the time, and it was kind of like Ford's Skunk Works. So they drew the car all up and then did a presentation to my dad, and then they made adjustments and then brought the blueprints out here, and then my dad's guys built it. And they built it like in 6 months, which is just amazing. I've been already working on the reconstruction of it for 2 years, but took it up there, got it done in the summer of '68, went up there and tested it and actually ran 400 miles an hour testing, but they were late in the year. And Bonneville, when it's not in the summertime, when it's not dry and hot and all salty, it turns into a lake.
Oh.
And it's a lake probably 9 months out of the year. It's actually underwater. And he got all ready to go after testing 400 miles an hour, and the skies opened up and it rained, and he got rained out that year.
Oh, that's sad. So never did, in fact, get to officially break that land speed record.
It did not. And the next year, he was going to go back the next year with Ford. In 1969, Ford, General Motors, and Chrysler all quit racing. They said, win on Sunday, sell on Monday. That's just not going to work for us anymore. So that car went in a trailer, and it's been sitting in a trailer for 45 years.
It is, so the reason we're getting you on, Danny, here's the car, by the way. You've got a Kickstarter project to bring this car back into shape, and you actually want to break the record.
I do. I want to break it so bad you can't even believe it. Well, in 1988, my dad came to me and he said, I want to run this car again. I want to pull it out of the trailer. I want to take it out of mothballs, and I would like for you to drive it.
Oh,
and I went, oh, yeah, for sure. So it was going to be a father-son deal. I was going to drive it and work on it and put a crew together to work on it. He was going to run the front end, bring all the sponsorship in and all that. So we came to this agreement, made a deal, and 3 weeks later, my dad got murdered. And
murdered?
So yeah.
Oh,
murdered.
my God.
Yeah, so that was 24 years ago. So I just didn't have the heart to do it without him, for a long time. And now Now I want to finish his unfinished business, and plus I want to go really fast, really bad.
So what shape is the Challenger 2? And it's beautiful, by the way. It looks like an Airstream. It's all aluminum on the outside. A little bit bigger windshield than a welding visor, but not much.
Not much at all. So it's it's set for 45 years. So we took it completely apart, and I've changed the engine combination, the transmission combination. We had to upgrade it for all the safety issues. The whole steering had to be redone. And that's probably been our biggest mechanical challenge of all, is to redo the steering, because it only turns about 4 degrees each direction. So it'd take about 3 miles to turn it in a circle.
Well, truthfully, you don't want it to turn too much. That's a sure way to roll the thing. You want it to go straight, like a bullet.
Exactly.
It kind of looks like a bullet or a jet airplane. I mean, it's pretty amazing.
Yeah, I mean, considering that the thing is 45 years old, the aerodynamics and everything, I think my dad was so far ahead of his time with this design. We should be able to take this thing out and go out. And the record right now for a piston-powered, wheel-driven car is 439 miles an hour.
Ooh.
So that's our minimum goal. We have to beat that by 1%. So around 450 is what we got to go.
You think you can do it?
Absolutely. Not even a question in my mind.
What's interesting, I mean, this car is old. I mean, it's 45 years old.
Yeah.
So, nowadays, the modern cars, I'm sure they have computer modeling. They've got perfect streamlining. Now, at least you're putting in newer engines, right? So you're going to have benefit from new engine technology.
Right. Yep. So, I mean, my dad had 1,800 horsepower and went 400 miles an hour with it. Now we're going to have 4,000 horsepower. So the trick
Holy cow.
So from having a fast car, what the tires spinning, what it's like and
Traction
everything, and how it gets
huge.
sideways.
Yeah.
Traction, exactly.
Yeah.
And Bonneville is almost like driving on snow. It's got very, very little traction. The tire is only a 4-inch wide tire. It's a Mickey Thompson tire, company that my dad started a long time ago. Oh, there's that place right there.
Look at that. There you are with a Mustang. Look at that.
Yep, that's a 1969 Mustang. My dad and Danny Angaya set 295 national, international records in 1968 with Mustangs.
Wow. How come you just don't burn rubber when you start this thing up? You have to accelerate. You can't accelerate. You have to slowly build up speed, right?
That's exactly right. So once you let the clutches out and you start accelerating, I actually just built the throttle pedals last week, or throttle pedal singular, and it's got 7 inches of throw. And the tire's only 4 inches wide. It's got 100 pounds of air pressure in it. They're only 1/32 of an inch thick for rubber. Basically, the rubber's painted on there to make you feel good.
What's under the rubber? Metal?
No, it's a cross weave of a nylon weave it's actually been spun to 575 miles an hour on a machine, and the tire grows 1 whole inch at that kind of speed.
Wow. Well, that's something you don't even think about. When you're going really fast, it expands. Is that because of heat?
Because of heat and because of just the weight of it. And this tire actually has a 5/8 or 5/16 wire that goes around the bead on the inside to try to keep it from expanding, so it doesn't, absolutely just blow off the car.
Pop off, yeah. So you're very gradually, you got 7-inch throw, gradually accelerating that car up.
That's exactly right.
Do you have a steering wheel? How are you steering it?
Yeah, a steering wheel. And basically 90 degrees is 4 degrees one direction, and 90 degrees the other way is 4 degrees the other direction.
Very loose steering.
Yeah. Well, we won't use, if you use 2 or 3 degrees, you're probably in trouble. So you want to try to get that thing as straight as you can, and hopefully there's no wind coming across the salt and that stuff. So, but you basically, from the time you let the clutch out, you got 5 miles to make your maximum speed, and then you have 3 miles to get the thing shut down and woed. And
is there a speedometer in there?
I have a digital speedometer, but probably I won't be looking at it. It'll probably scare the hell out of me.
But you need to know when you've broken the record. So now there's no brakes.
We actually have carbon brakes, but the way you stop it is with parachutes.
Yeah, because brakes, you're asking for, you're going to spin, all sorts of things are going to happen.
Yeah, it'd be ugly.
Yeah. So you pull so how do you know when to pull the parachute?
There'll be when you run at the Bonneville National Meet, there'll be mile markers that say mile 1, mile 2, mile 3, mile 4, mile 5. As soon as you think you can start to see that 5 mile mark way out in front of you, you start moving your hands and getting your brain ready to start telling you to do that. Because if you think about it and say, oh, I need to pretty soon pull that parachute, you've gone a mile. So.
How do you train for something like this, Danny?
Well, I mean, I train every day or 5 days a week anyway. You know,
is there a simulator?
No, everything's. I run with the dogs in the morning, sniff and walk with the dogs. You know,
Yeah.
so.
Oh, you
and
stay
then-
in shape because you need to be in shape for this.
Yeah, you do. It's maybe not so much like you would driving a Formula One car or something, but you know, you're in the car only 68 seconds
Right.
actually under power.
Stamina. You don't need stamina.
But no, you need those.
Quick
What do they
twitch.
call 'em?
Quick twitch muscles.
Yeah. Exactly. Well, you know what's funny about Bonneville is I've driven race cars my whole life, but at Bonneville, all those quick hands, all the things that save you in formula racing or drag racing or anything, being really quick and thinking really quick. At Bonneville, it's kind of the opposite. You don't want to do anything really quick. You kind of almost, for the lack of better words, maybe be a little bit lethargic.
No,
and,
I understand. Because any quick
everything's
moves, you're gonna spin out. You're gonna throw yourself. I mean, listen to what happened to you in that Mustang, and you were only going what 269 miles an hour.
Exactly. And this car is only 34 inches wide, 32 feet long, but only 34 inches wide. So so it pierces that air. So you don't want to get sideways in it. That's for sure.
I don't think I could get in it.
I tell you, getting in it, because I had to build a new roll cage for the modern day safety.
Yeah.
The actual roll cage is 4 inches narrower than my hips. So you got to kind of get in there real sideways and kind of twist in, and then you kind of go into the seat.
Isn't it a little scary? I mean, you don't feel like you're a little bit trapped in a bullet?
Well, they're going back to getting in shape. I eat lunch in this thing, so I'm pretty comfortable in it now.
Oh, that's part of the training, is just kind of getting comfortable and relaxing there. The car itself, do you call it a car, a vehicle? What do you call it?
Yeah, a Streamliner.
It is gorgeous. I mean, it's just beautiful. But it is not going to be cheap to get this thing back on the road. What do you estimate it's going to cost?
Well, so far I got a little over $1 million in it.
What?
So, well,
Do you have a sponsor? I mean, how do you fund this?
I'm looking for sponsors, and we have Mickey Thompson Tire as a partial sponsor, but rest of I've been selling everything I have and everything to try to keep this thing going.
Danny.
But I mean, it's a great human interest story, because you got a father-son story that's lasted, it's gone on for over 50 years. And so besides the technology and everything, you got this human interest story. To me, it's just a tremendous platform for advertising for somebody. But I've been unable to find a sponsor so far, hence the deal for Kickstarter. We kind of ran out of sponsor ideas, so we thought we'd try this Kickstarter thing and get people to be part of history, And with the Kickstarter, you have lots of different levels of participation and everything, and you get anywhere from a T-shirt to your name on the car, or whatever level that you decide to participate in.
If you go to Danny's website, thompsonlsr.com. Here, let me just find this here. You will be able to click the link that says Kickstarter. It'll take you right to the Kickstarter project. It's just kicking off, and you've got a ways to go. 16,000 raised. You need about 200,000. I would encourage I'm going to kick some money in. I would encourage others to do so. Just to get this dream come true, you can pledge as little as $10. That'll get your name on the partner section of the website. You'll get to brainstorm and vote on the designation and paint scheme on the Streamliner, which is a great idea. I might want to get this T-shirt. That's $50. For $100, you get the crew T-shirt, which is cool, and the sticker pack and all of that stuff. And it goes on up for there. I always like to look on a Kickstarter project. If I kick in the most amount of money, $10,000, you're now a sponsor. Your name or company logo. Really? Could I get the Twit logo on the Streamliner?
For $200,000, you can get whatever you want.
Honorary member of the crew, welcome to join us at Bonneville during the runs, plus everything else, including the T-shirts and the stickers. You think you're going to do it this summer if you could get it together?
Well, our plan right now is in October, to be ready by October and go it and test and start making sure all these changes and everything we made to the engines and transmissions and rear ends and steering and shifting and parachutes. I mean, there's so many changes we've made. We want to get up there and get those tested, make sure that we did everything right. And then if we didn't, we have the winter to correct that. And then we plan to go for records a year from now, next August.
How exciting. Oh, my goodness. And what is
You need
this?
to be there.
I can't miss this. Now, would you be willing to have somebody like Ford come back and sponsor this?
Absolutely, absolutely.
I don't know why
Ford
they
would be the
don't.
great sponsor.
They're back into racing. They do racing.
They do, and it would be great to have Ford back on board, because that would really kind of tie the loop together, you know, because they started off, they were the major sponsor to begin with, and the designer of the car and all that. To have Ford back would be tremendous, and that I would really enjoy that partnership. I drove for Ford for a number of years in off-road cars, and you know, so I have a great relationship for them, and has represented them well in the past. So for them to come back, it would be tremendous.
Scott Monty, I hope you're listening. I'm gonna call my friends over at Ford, mate, because this is a great bet for them. The pictures, by the way, if you go to the website, it's really fun.
That's my mom.
Is that your mom?
That's my mom kissing my dad before in 1959.
She was a brave woman to let your dad do that, huh?
Yeah, she's a pretty awesome lady.
That's really, really amazing. And this is the original. He must have known he was going to do it again, because it's painted Challenger 1.
Yep. Well, and then he had so many cars throughout his life. But my dad did Indianapolis cars and drag race cars and off-road cars, and most all of them were designated as a Challenger.
Oh, interesting. Look how tiny that his helmet basically is wedged into the cowling.
Good eyes, because that's Fritz Voigt, and what he would do is my dad would get in there, and then Fritz would take his hands and he would push my dad back into that hole. So, I mean, just shove him in there. My dad's neck would be all twisted up and everything, and he'd pop back into place like a rubber doll inside.
But you kind of want that, because you don't want your head vibrating or shaking around as this thing. I imagine is there quite a bit of vibration as you're driving?
There is, because although it's the flattest place in the world, so flat as we talked about, see the curvature of the earth, it's not smooth. And the vibration, it depends on how your car is set up and everything, but you can actually get blurry vision, if you're touching the roll cage or anything. So we have King shocks on this thing, and we're really into the valving and everything to give it the best ride that you can.
There's
kind of like, I could equate it to like driving down a washboard road. You know how you get that?
Yeah, it's like that?
That's how it is. Yeah, like that. Exactly.
It doesn't sound fun. Is it fun?
Oh, gosh. It's heaven. Sorry, but I mean, it is. It's just, I mean.
It's 70 seconds of heaven. It's a brief bit of heaven.
It's a brief bit. But then you get to turn around and come right back.
Right.
Here's a kind of an interesting note, because being that the thing takes like 4 miles to turn around, and when you run an FIA event, which is for a world record, you have to go down, set your one-way record, turn the car around, put fuel in it, and check the tires and everything, and come back all within 1 hour. So what we've improvised, or my dad's guys improvised, is we have air jacks, and we jack the car up in the air. We put a Lazy Susan underneath the middle of it,
smart.
Spin it around, line it back up, take the Lazy Susan out, and you're ready for the return pass.
Very smart. Do you refuel when you get there? You refuel?
We do.
Yeah.
Yeah, here's an interesting fact. So to go 5 miles, it takes us 60 gallons of fuel.
That's not good mileage.
That's not good mileage.
You're not talking miles per gallon. You're talking gallons per mile.
Yeah, that's exactly right. That's exactly right. So, well, it's another interesting thing. So these are like dragster motors, like funny car drag racing motors, minus a blower. They're fuel injected.
They're nitro-fueled funny cars.
That's exactly what it is, minus a blower. But there's no water in the engines to keep them cool.
Oh.
So the way you keep them cool is you keep them cool with fuel. You just, like, our fuel line is an 1.5 inch fuel line to feed this thing. And you put so much fuel in there, and that's what keeps the cylinders cool.
No kidding.
Yeah.
It's gasoline cooled.
Yeah. Nitromethane cooled, yeah.
Well, I'm sorry, nitromethane. Well, actually, that's probably a very good coolant, come to think of it.
It is. That, and it's mixed with methanol, methyl alcohol. And it's a good combination. And we're going to start off with 50%. We figure we can make 2,000 horsepower per engine with 50% nitro and 50% alcohol. Now, if we can hook the car up, and by hook it up, I mean, make traction and drive forward hard, then we can put more nitromethane in it, and we can make another 700 or 800 horsepower by putting 90% nitromethane in it.
Horsepower, the key, or torque? What about torque on this?
Torque's important on the bottom end. The horsepower is really, really important, but if you spin the tires then the horsepower doesn't do any good.
Right.
And in our case, if you spin the tires, you have to back off the throttle. When you back off the throttle, then you're not giving it all that fuel, and then the engine instantly gets hot.
Oh.
So it's a fine line that you're balancing on to try to make it all work.
Yeah, no kidding. And really, ultimately, it's RPMs, isn't it? I mean, you've got to get those wheels spinning as fast as possible.
You can, and without spinning, driving.
Yes,
forward
driving.
the whole time.
Yes.
Yeah. So
That's why the slow acceleration, you can't lose traction.
Exactly right. Nail on the head right there.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. What percentage of nitro? Funny cars use what, 90%?
90%. Yeah. 90. I think the most you can get in nitro anymore is 94%. You can't get 100% anymore. And that stuff, I mean,
That's an explosion waiting to happen.
It is. It is. So it just makes you cry. And I mean, the fumes are so toxic, and it's delightful.
I love the smell of nitro in the morning. It smells like a land speed record. Danny, this is so fun and so cool. Here's a great picture of your dad testing the parachutes, I think.
I told you my dad drove anything.
Apparently they work quite well. It's look at this, just amazing.
Yeah, that's him in the car inside the trailer in 1968.
Wow, that's a beautiful picture.
Nice.
Just really a great picture.
Gives me goosebumps.
Yeah. I just can't wait to find out more. Everybody should visit your website, because that's where you can find all of these pictures, and you've got a great video that you put on Vimeo of memories of your dad and stuff. And I just think it's so cool that you're doing this. You're kind of, what is this?
That's the back of the Challenger 1 from looking at it from the back, and that little round thing in the back.
Batmobile.
It does, doesn't it? And see, so not only did he look out that 4x4, 4-inch by 4-inch window, he had to look down between those two scoops. So basically, he had no peripheral vision at all. So that black line is what you followed in those days. If you lost that black line, you didn't know where the heck you were
have no
going.
idea where you are. Yeah, so those scoops, they're scooping up air and they're pumping it through real fast.
Yep.
Wow.
I mean, you look at that and you can see my dad was a brave man.
Well, you're a brave man. You're about to do it again.
Yeah, can't wait.
Have you driven it at all yet? I mean, is it in any shape to drive yet?
Not yet. Right now, it's as far apart as it's ever been. It's laying upside down on some sawhorses, and we're working on the floorboards. So tomorrow it comes back up. Both engines are done. They're ready to go in. The transmissions are done. We're just finishing up the steering. I welded this morning for 3.5 hours on steering, and that all had to be brought up to the right temperature and welded at the right temperature with a proper rod, and then it goes out for heat treating. And after that comes back, then we'll be able to start putting the front end together. So we're thrashing. We're working our tails off trying to make this happen.
Yeah, because you're on a pretty tight schedule if you want to get this out there in October.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Indeed.
Do you think you can do it?
Oh, I think so. I absolutely think so. I mean, if it takes 20 hours a day, that's what'll happen.
So this is your day job, your night job, your full-time job.
This is everything. This is almost, I mean, if I'm not working on it, I'm thinking about it.
Down in the Huntington Beach garage down there where you're working, if people want to know more, they should go to Kickstarter, or, you can go to ThompsonLSR.com and click the Kickstarter link. There's a way to go. I want to get some, we've had some pretty good success in the past with helping people get their Kickstarter projects off the ground. I think this seems like a worthy project just for the fun of it, just for the coolness of it. What happens after you break the record? Is that it for Challenger 2?
Yeah, probably go in a museum, or, maybe we'll go back and, I'm not too sure. 450 miles an hour is what we got to do to get that record. I'd really, really like to be the first person to go over 500 mile an hour in a piston car. That just made the hair on my arm stand up.
Do you think that's doable? Is that possible?
I do. I don't think it's easy. In the whole history of land speed racing, there's only been 11 people ever go over 400 miles an hour with a piston-powered car.
Wow.
So it's definitely not easy. That record, my dad went 406 in 1960. The Summers brothers set the two-way record at 409 in 65. And for the next 48 years, it only got bumped 8 miles an hour.
Wow.
And then last year it got bumped 22 miles an hour. So no, it's really, really hard. I have a whole lot of confidence we can do it, and I absolutely will not give up until we we attacked this record.
What are the RPMs to get to that? I guess gearing doesn't matter, right? Because the gearing is what's key.
No, it does. It does for sure, because you want to make these engines don't want to run over 6,500 RPM. Okay. So I just had 4 new gears cut. 4 new gears cut, and at 6,500 RPM with that 24-inch tire, we will be able to go 512 miles an hour.
That's the calculation, isn't it?
That's the calculation.
How fast can you get that tire rolling?
That's it, exactly.
How many gears do you have in it?
3-speed.
3 speeds. And you're starting first. When do you shift to second?
Well, I'm not sure exactly where it'll go. A lot of that, the first to second, will depend on how much traction you get.
Oh, so are you listening? Is that how you know?
But I'll have a digital speed or digital dashboard that'll tell me. Yeah, and I'll have a light come on when it's time to shift, and then I'll have push buttons. And
Is there a clutch? No.
There is a clutch. There is a clutch, yeah. But it's a centrifugal clutch, so at about 2 or 3 miles an hour, I'll just be able to let the clutch out slowly. I don't have to go, any of that kind of sound effects help. But I won't have to. I can just pull it out, and then I can just slowly drive away from the truck. Will push me off, but probably.
Oh, you do get a little push to begin.
A little push just to help it out on the bottom. Some people push up to 70 miles an hour, but that to me is a little bit scary. I'm too afraid of the push truck running over me, so I'm just going to drive. And you can accelerate faster in the car. To me, you're using up a lot of real estate by having that truck push you, where if you can accelerate and get that power to the ground. I keep saying get that power to the ground. It's so important. You know, if you've driven in snow before, you know as soon as you let that clutch out, how the tires want to slip. So it's going to be a real marshmallow foot to get that thing going.
If the tires slipped, you just stop and say, that's it, we're done, we'll start over?
If you're already going 300 or 350 miles an hour, then you got to. But
they can slip even at that speed?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It's not just at the beginning.
Yeah. Well, even at, say, 450 miles an hour, with everything working optimally, you're still going to have about 5 to 7% of wheel slip when everything's perfect.
Oh, so they do slip a little bit.
Yeah, wow. the whole time. So,
do they smoke when they slip? How do you?
No. There's
no rubber on there. There's nothing to smoke.
If they smoke, that's only going to be for 1 second. That 1/32 inch of rubber is going to
be very quick. So I'm just trying to. I mean, for you. This is a lot of precision. You have to shift at just the right time. You have to be, as you said, marshmallow foot, very gentle with the accelerator, because you can't overspin those tires. You have to. Do you feel it? Is a lot of it feeling how it's going?
It's a lot of it feeling in your foot, feeling the seat of your pants, listening to what the engines sound like. And now I've never driven a 2-engine car, and especially sandwiched in between that 4,000 horsepower. So I don't quite know what that sensation is yet, but it'll be a feel. I mean, I've done this all my life, and I don't know what this next one's going to be like.
You have to be the nitro whisperer. You have to speak to the car, and it speaks to you. And you're going to get. It's not like you doing this the first time out. You're going to get a lot of practice runs if you start in October, so you can really get a sense of it.
That's it. You have to sneak up on this deal. Any of the cars that I got over 400 miles an hour, I'd say it's taken most of these guys about 10 years to get their car just right. Wow. Because you get to run for a week in August, and that's called Speed Week. And then you can run once in September and once in October, and that's it for the whole year. So if you don't get your business done, the Salt Lake turns back into a wet lake, and you got to wait until next August to do it again. So the window of opportunity is really small, and it's another thing that's pretty strange about the place. It can be 110 degrees out there, fairly dry, and the wind will start blowing, and a storm will come in. It'll rain, and the place will flood. Within 20 minutes to an hour, it'll flood, and you're done for the year. You got to go home. You got to get it. So now, on the flip side of that, it can rain, it can be flooded. The wind can blow that night, and the place is so flat, it'll blow the water to a different side of the dry lake, and you can run the next day.
No kidding. Wow.
Yeah, it's a very magical, mystical place.
Well, and this is a very rarefied kind of sport. I mean, there are a handful of people who've done it. It's very specialized. It's really fun. The thing we celebrate on this network is people who have a passion beyond all reasonableness, beyond all rationality for what they do. They just love it so much they just got to do it. And you qualify in spades, Danny Thompson. I wish you the best. I'm so excited by this. ThompsonLSR.com. Please, folks, just kick in $10. If all of you kick in $10, we'll get that much closer to it. Don't you want to see this? Don't you want to see this happen? It's so exciting. Danny, I wish you all the best. I'm so glad you're bringing your dad's dream back to life.
Well, thank you very much, Leo, and it was absolute pleasure to be on your show. And my son watches you all the time, so I mean, I was dialed into all your habits and everything even before I got on.
Oh, good. I'm glad you were prepared. Is your son going to follow in your footsteps? Is he interested?
He's not interested in driving. I mean, he's doing the website right now. He's doing all my PR work, and he's a really, really smart kid. So, but he doesn't care too much about the racing part of it. But you know, just a brilliant kid.
Well, he does a great job on the website. It's beautiful. So tell him thank you for doing that. It's just gorgeous. You did a great job on this. And
I'll do that.
And continue the good work. And I cannot wait till August. We're going to be rooting for you. You got to do it like the guy who jumped out of the space capsule. You got to get a live. You know, I think Red Bull should sponsor him. This is a Red Bull opportunity. We want live pictures. We want to watch. We'll go live and watch you do this. This is too exciting. Too exciting.
It is a Red Bull. It's a perfect Red Bull opportunity.
Is.
We need
Where are
Red
these
Bull.
guys? Come on, Red Bull. Come on, Ford. Where are these guys? Maybe we'll put a little Twit logo on the side next to them. Thank you, Danny.
Thank you very much. Enjoyed it, Leo.
What a pleasure. Give my best to your son. Danny Thompson, following in his dad's footsteps, a great dream, just an exciting dream. ThompsonLSR.com if you want to participate. We do triangulation every Wednesday afternoon, right after This Week in Google, right about, supposed to be between 3 and 4 in the afternoon. It kind of varies, but you tune in at 3 p.m., there's going to be something great on. That's 3 p.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. Eastern time. And let's see, that'd be about right about midnight, Universal Coordinated Time, UTC. Please tune in live, but if you can't, of course, on-demand audio and video of all of our shows is available at twit.tv/TRI, or subscribe on iTunes or wherever you get your internet broadcasts, and you'll be able to see every episode the minute it's available, audio and video. Thanks to Danny. Thanks to you for joining us. We'll see you next time on Triangulation.